welcome back to another episode of JR Takes. As always, you got Ryan and I coming at you with the latest NFL and Seattle news. And we actually have a bye week this week, so not a whole lot of Seahawks content to go over. A couple injuries for the Hawks that we can talk about here and there, but this will mostly be in a around the NFL episode today. Yeah, I guess kicking things off, we got the Bengals-Ravens tonight. Pretty good matchup. I think the Ravens will win, but I like the Bengals on the road, splitting the series between the two of them. But
I think there's a good chance that game turns into a shootout because the Ravens defense, it hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been nearly as good without some of their personnel and Mike McDonald.
And especially their pass defense has been terrible this year. So I like Joe Shiesty maybe dropping a 40 burger tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, T. Higgins is out, much to my dismay.
Is he?
Yeah, I have him in one of the redraft leagues I'm in.
I thought I heard on the radio that he was playing, but maybe that was wrong.
Yeah, I got the sleeper notification. But that's kind of what comes with the territory when you have T. Higgins. It's like he'll be amazing, and then he won't do shit for you. He's kind of like better Gabe Davis in fantasy.
Yeah, he really is. Do we have any injuries heading into the bye week that, what's the status on DK?
I think they're optimistic that he'll be back after the bye, but I don't think that's for sure. I think that's kind of the situation for most of our important players that we've been waiting on. Like
Abraham Lucas, for example.
Yeah.
He was going to be my next question, was because I know we talked about him not being on IR anymore, but what does that mean?
I got to think, dude, he has been out for so long. If he's not ready to go this week, then he's just not. What difference is a week going to make at this point? It's been a year. So
yeah, at a certain point, you have to look at the situation and be like, is this guy an NFL player with his injuries?
And unfortunately, the answer might just be no. I mean, they're human beings, Sometimes your body, you have a hip issue, you have a knee issue. With him, it is a knee issue. But, we all have some things about us, especially as we get older. Not that he's old, but that bother us. And if it's that bad, it's that bad.
Yeah.
Look at what happened to Jamal Adams, pre and post injury.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm willing to just let that play out as they see fit, though, because it's I'm sure they're well aware.
To me, it's almost like Abraham Lucas isn't even a member of our team anymore. I don't mean that in a bad way.
That's kind of how I've been operating for the last year.
But that's kind of how it is. It's our line is so bad. I'm past the point of praying for Abraham Lucas to come back. I would look at it as just going to next year's draft, expecting him to no longer be with us because he hasn't been for a year. And like you said, is a week or two or a month really going to change anything? I don't know. So
yeah, and I mean, to me, the whole situation is I see him as a huge bonus,
right?
If things turn around, but I'm not expecting it.
It's almost a little different, but it's almost remember when we had Percy Harvin and he was just hurt the whole time?
Yeah.
And then we brought him out for the Super Bowl and he won us the Super Bowl almost in a sense. He did.
He ended the Super Bowl.
He ended the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's kind of like that. It's well, our team isn't as good as then, but not even close. but Percy Harvin was a bonus that year. We were oh man, if we had Percy Harvin, holy shit. And then we won the Super Bowl. But if we had Abraham Lucas, God, our line might be different.
It would make it, think about it. One offensive lineman's 20% of the line. So if you have 20% be 10 times better than what you've been playing, it's going to make a noticeable difference. I think Mike Gerald's played for being a, 6th round rookie out of what is the school again? It's
Finland?
Finlay, yeah.
Or
yeah.
Finlay?
Yeah, good memory. What the hell is even that?
I only remember that because I was are we getting a European player? What's happening?
And I think he's done great for that situation, but that guy he's our 4th string tackle, He wasn't supposed to play at all this year. And that's what we've been dealing with. Funnily enough, though, I don't even really think tackle play has been a noticeable problem for the most part. It's our guards, and I don't know what happened to Connor Williams because he started off the year pretty good, but he's been a good chunk of the reason why we've lost the last 2 games.
It almost seems like 2 members from the Men in Black pulled out their little thing and were like, and now he doesn't know how to snap the ball.
He started snapping the ball like,
yeah, it's terrible too, because like Connor, like this is kind of a, I might have mentioned this on a previous episode, but Connor Williams in Madden 24 is an 86 overall.
wow. So he should be good.
He should be really good, and he's playing like he's a fucking 68 overall. So.
Yeah, that would track. That's probably what in the current Madden the rest of our line is
the
at.
Updated roster. All of our linemen are in the 60s.
It's what it feels like. I mean, especially every time we try to run between the tackles in short yardage situations, it's like we don't have a line. Basically, I don't know. We've beaten that subject to death, but. When it comes to injuries, I think Abraham is the only one maybe coming to save us. I don't think George Fant played against the Rams, did he? I watched the game on my phone because I was in the studio.
Okay. I can't really remember.
I thought it was Gerald, but yeah. Unfortunately, just don't know.
A lot of times I get so focused on other things when we're watching the game that I just have no idea who's blocking for our line sometimes because I'm not looking at that until they give me a reason to, and then I'm like, that was the worst block I've ever watched.
If you're having a good game, unless you're an O-line nerd, like you probably aren't noticing them at all because they're doing their job. You really only pay attention when they're ruining drives. Yeah. So that's why our line has gotten a lot of attention this year because they've been so bad. I heard someone say like, is this worse than the 2017 line that had Luke Jokel and like
Jermaine Ifedi
and Odu Obichetti or whatever the fuck is? I don't even remember how to say his name, but
I don't even remember him. That's how bad he was.
They were very bad, and I'm like, okay, so which is actually worse? Because back then we had prime Russell Wilson that got out of a bunch of sacks, and he was having like a MVP level performance that year. Right. So we were still kind of a good team.
Was that the year where he had like all of our yards?
Yes. Our leading rusher was him.
That was the year. Was that the year like all of our running backs were hurt?
Yeah, and it's the year that we would have been 12-4 if Blair Walsh wasn't our kicker. We ended up at 9-7.
Flushable year to forget about. Holy shit.
That was the last year of the Legion of Boom too. I mean, we had like 2 games with Earl Thomas the next year, but then this happened, so... As far as I'm concerned, that was the end.
Well, also, I was like, because I've been saying lately, like, all we need to focus on is offensive linemen and linebackers as the secondary. But, like, I was looking at, because I was like, when did we draft Jermaine Ifedi? And because I know he was a high pick. He was a first-round pick. Yeah. Granted, he was 31 overall, but, like.
Still.
It's still like you get a guy in the first round and he's that. He was like one of the worst players I've ever seen wear a Seahawks uniform. And
the amount of times I screamed, Fetty! over the years.
And him in slow motion, like, choking someone and just the ref throwing the flag. Yeah, no, because I was thinking about that too. Like, the late teens were a bad time to be a Seahawks fan watching our line play, but I think this is worse.
To me, it's worse because at least we could kind of run block sometimes in that period, but I feel like if there's anything our line is better at, it's pass blocking, and they're like 29th in the league at it. So they're still really bad. It's just they're like 31st or 32nd in run blocking. I don't know how anyone's worse.
So is Christian Haynes just like a Anthony Richardson of linemen's? Like he just can't play?
I don't know.
What's going on?
I don't know.
There was so much hype with him coming in.
He was the number 1 right guard in the draft.
Yeah.
Like by most people. I was so excited about that pick. And I mean, like at first I was like, does Mike McDonald just hate him? But it's not like he's made a difference when he's been out there. And for what it's worth, his PFF grade has been consistently worse than Anthony Bradford's, which has also been bad. Mm-hmm. So it's just a sad state of affairs, man. I mean, I don't know what you do to turn that around without. I mean, the trade deadline's passed, so there's nothing you can do where this is just what it's going to be like the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's really like I didn't really like feel this way until you told me that thing John Schneider said, but it's like Does he just like think he can do whatever he wants? Because like you said, like you got it wrong.
Yeah.
We need to prioritize our guards and just our interior line in general. Like, granted, they went after 86 Madden rating overall Connor Williams, so it's not like he's not doing anything.
Right.
But didn't expect him to be what he is.
Well, it's really weird because, like,
that's why I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's why I'm like, does he have a thumb injury? Can he not snap the ball? Can he not grip it? What's happening?
Well, that's what I'm wondering too, because like he had a stretch of pretty dang good play for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, I think Laken Tomlinson has had some good plays out there, and right now he probably is better than Bradford. But there's been so much bad with him too, where it's like, you couldn't have just re-signed Damian Lewis and like let Noah Fant walk, for example. I will say, to John Schneider's credit, one thing he did recently was identify that linebacker was a position of need and went and traded for Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones is good. Ernest Jones was fantastic against the Rams, and we forced the Rams into 7 3-and-outs in that game. So I actually, considering the amount of pressures this team has forced this year,
mm-hmm.
and some developments I'm seeing on the defense, like I think that Mike, I believe in the development of this defense. I think long term we're gonna be in a good spot there.
Mm-hmm.
But this line, like, and a lot of the things with this offense is just, it's so frustrating to watch, you know, because I don't know what you do. Like
Right.
if you just don't have the option in your playbook to run in short yardage situations, that's so hard to win with.
I also heard a stat on the radio yesterday. It was like the Seahawks have the longest yards per third down. Like they have to get like 8.9 yards every third down, which is the most since a 1980s offense, which is crazy because I've seen us have worse offenses than we do right now.
Yeah.
But the line is just so bad.
Well, it's the amount of holds they're getting, the amount of times we try to run on first, second down and get 1.5 yards both times. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the story. Like we'll try not to be so pass heavy, and occasionally it'll work, but most of the time it's just a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why we lost the game to the Rams. Like I feel like we just needed to keep throwing on that drive because it was working great. But anywho, I'm glad we have a week to sort this out because our schedule is getting to the most brutal stretch. You could say we've already started the brutal stretch, but the season lies in the balance. We got 3 out of 4 of the next games being in the division.
Who's after San Francisco?
Cardinals.
Cardinals?
And then it's the Jets, and then I think it's the Cardinals again.
Cardinals, Jets, then the Cardinals.
Why do we always have to do that with one of our division rivals?
I don't know.
Like, you get them this week, and then you get a week off, and then you get them again. Have fun.
It's not fun. It's terrible.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to be a fucking asshole.
Well, the Jets looked amazing last week compared to how they've looked
Dude,
all
The
season.
Jets are going to be, I feel like.
They're going to fucking cook us, aren't they?
I feel like that could be a game where we just like the Falcons, where we just randomly kick their ass for no reason and it makes no sense. Or
Ooh, Packers is Sunday Night Football.
Is that on the road?
That is.
That's a home
I think
game.
that's at home. Thank
It's
God.
home, yeah.
We haven't won in Green Bay while either of us have been alive. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah. And
We're
all
not
the
that
games we
young
played
either.
in Green Bay are like memorable for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever even really see us be that close there. Like the playoff game we played there.
The closest was we want the ball, we want to score. Or
I
we want
think
the ball and we're gonna score.
Yeah. I think you're right, actually.
And what's going on with the Vikings?
I mean, they look more human. They just lost Darisaw for the season, their left tackle, so that they're beatable. But
Dude,
it's gonna be
Sam
kinda
Darnold
like
is
how-
the most Midwestern person I've ever seen.
What do you mean?
He's just so boring looking. Of course, he plays for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, he's found a home there for sure.
No,
This
it
is
suits him. I'm happy for him.
And then Bears is Thursday night.
That's annoying too.
We're gonna beat the Bears. Are you kidding me?
You think so?
You think Shane Waldron is gonna scheme to beat us?
That
No,
is true.
We are gonna kick their ass. The Bears suck.
They
Their coaching staff is so bad. I think it makes them like one of the worst NFC teams because the only teams they've beaten are terrible AFC teams. They beat the Titans. They beat the Jaguars. They beat the.
I can't really remember who all they beat.
Yeah, because
they almost beat the Commanders. Without that Hail Mary, they would have beat the Commanders.
Yeah, but that was such an ugly game. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't even look at that game as anything to be proud of.
I can't believe their offense is as bad as it is because they have really good skill players and they have like an extremely talented quarterback that even with the bad coaching has looked amazing at times this year.
Dude, it's Shane Waldron, man. It has to be.
Like, I can't believe we won as many games as we did with him.
Well, think how frustrating. Like, we would have these same exact thoughts last year. Why are we not moving the ball? We have DK, we have Tyler Lockett, we have JSN, we have Ken Walker and Charbonnet. Like, those are good skill players.
Yeah, I mean, for as frustrating as our season has been, Geno's leading the league in passing yards. So I believe in Ryan Grubb. Like, I think if he had a functional offensive line, we'd be a top 5 offense.
That's why I've kind of changed my personal opinion and narrative on Geno. Like, I've always thought, like, we're not Super Bowl bound, not even close with him as our quarterback. But he, like, if you give him a good offensive line, like we've been talking about, there's only like 3 quarterbacks that can take over a game and win you games themselves.
And you also have to pay them $50 million a year. We're not paying Geno anything close to that.
Right. So like Geno is serviceable enough to where if he has pass protection, he will make the throws. He will make the plays that need to be made.
He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks out there. It's just, I think a lot of times he doesn't have the best pocket presence in the league.
No.
Sometimes he does, but sometimes it's like, dude, why are you slowly dancing around for like 4 seconds to get sacked?
It's just when he makes a mistake, it's like brutal.
It's always in the red zone with
like,
his interceptions.
It's like,
always.
You want to like explode.
Yeah, because I mean, he throws one of the prettiest looking balls in the league. Like Geno can fucking spin that thing, but and it's not like he makes a ton of mistakes. But this year, there's been a lot of interceptions. We've thrown the ball a lot, so that'll happen. But there hasn't been that many passing touchdowns. I think he has like 11 passing touchdowns and 10 picks right now. That's for as exciting as the completion percentage and the yards have been, like, that's gotta get evened out. You know? That's not very good on its face.
And I think it will. But I think you got to give Geno time. Otherwise, he's going to be pressure in his face, has to make the throw, turnover.
Yeah, and I mean, he's made some amazing, like I think of the touchdown to Ken Walker against the Falcons. Mm-hmm. He had a guy bearing down on him, barely got that ball off, and it's like perfectly over his shoulder. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like for whatever random reason, we had good pass protection against the Lions, and we moved the ball at will against them. So I really hope DK can get back this week because, I mean, we'll save our game preview for next week, but we're going to need all of the firepower we have in our arsenal against the 49ers. So hopefully those guys we've talked about and Noah Fant can make it back because I think in the hypothetical situation where you have everybody, I think we can play with that team this year.
I agree. Yeah, this will be it'll be a good testament to see what Geno is all about because what is he, 0-6, 0-5?
I think he's 0-6 against the 49ers.
Yeah, because he's been our starter for an even amount of years.
Yeah, and we played them 3 times in 2022, and we lost all of them.
Dude,
yeah.
He needs a Vic.
Yeah.
Dude, I need a Vic. You know how much I hate watching us lose to the 49ers? Like, it takes a year off.
Rams or...
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know. My Niner hate kind of... I mean, it's still there, but it was way harder when Kaepernick was
for
the
sure.
quarterback.
Nothing
I
will ever
wanted
top
to
that.
Rip his heart out, but like, I don't know. The only thing that bothers me about the Niners is when Brock Purdy like celebrates and he like looks like a midget when he's moving around really quickly. That makes me want to.
I can't stand that, dude. That makes me want to pull my hair out.
But do you want to move on to the our top 10 power rankings?
Yeah, sure. For not having a game, I feel like we came up with plenty to talk about there.
Yeah, we just pretty much shit on our offensive line the whole time. But
it was cathartic.
It needed to be done.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Sure. I'll just start off with my number one, which I made a move this week.
Okay.
Just because I've seen it for long enough. I think this team, they got that it factor right now. That's the Detroit Lions. They also just made a move for Zadarius Smith, which will help shore up a weakness with Aiden Hutchinson going
Didn't
out.
even know he was still in the league, but good for them.
Unless I'm totally misremembering, but I'm pretty sure they did that this week.
No, that did happen. I remember seeing that being like, he's still in the NFL. Because he was
Number one is Lions for me. Yeah, they look like that team this year. I think anyone in the NFC right now, if the Lions get home field advantage, no one in the NFC is going in there and beating them the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I like the number one selection. For me, it's like a broken record, the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't want them to be. Let's make that clear. I really want the Steelers to beat them in the playoffs. That's what I'm hoping for. But the Chiefs, I mean, they beat the Buccaneers. I didn't really watch the second half of the game because I was torturing myself going up against Kareem Hunt in fantasy. But just the fact that they still pulled it out against the Buccaneers, super annoying. But this team just reminds me so much of all those Patriots teams that weren't that good, but they still won the Super Bowl because they had the easiest path imaginable.
Like the 2018 Patriots.
But like I gotta say, I don't really think the Chiefs have that easy of a path. They have a really tough AFC. Their division always plays them tough. It's just so annoying that no one can beat them. Like,
they already have enough wins too, where they're probably going to be the top seed.
They're the top seed.
Which is a giant, especially now that there's 7 playoff teams and only the top seed gets home field advantage in the bye.
Yeah,
mostly the bye. That's like how many Super Bowls have been the 2 top seeds the last couple of years? Like,
most of them.
Yeah.
They're just probably gonna go to the Super Bowl.
The only guy I have faith that could beat them is Joe Burrow, and they're like 3-5. So who knows if they're even gonna make the playoffs.
I would really love to see so they get the first round bye, and then that week they just lose.
It'd be so cool if they lost to Russ at home.
That'd be awesome, and that would do so much for Russ's legacy.
He would be a Hall of Famer again, easy.
Yeah,
I think he might still be, but who knows?
I never thought he wasn't, because I think 10 years of all-time level play is enough, and a Super Bowl.
I think if he makes it to the playoffs and does that, then that would solidify it. But
I agree.
Yeah.
How funny would that be for the three-peat to be ruined by, I've been thinking a lot about my identity lately.
That would be objectively hilarious.
Wait.
I'm assuming you got
I got it.
I think I have an alter ego. Mr. Unlimited.
All right,
You
get
gotta
that
be
out of here.
unlimited.
All right,
You gotta have a
so-
thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in
All right.
life or where you want to go,
Russell,
you gotta
you
be
need to be-
unlimited.
you need
Tell
to
them I'm
He needs to be
unlimited.
silenced.
Okay, so number 2 for me, I've got the Lions. They do have that sort of magic this season that I felt we had when we won the Super Bowl. You can just kind of
That's
tell.
why I put them at 1, yeah.
Yeah, you can just kind of tell when teams just have that confidence in themselves that no one is going to beat us. We're all on the same page. Separation is in the preparation, as Russ once said. So, yeah, I think the Lions, that would be so cool if they went to the Super Bowl this year. I'd be so happy for their organization because they have never been to a Super Bowl, and they're one of the oldest teams.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the Lions are like the AFC's Seahawks, where when
They're
they
NFC.
start- or the NFC.
they're kind of like the football version of the
I'll stay back.
Mariners.
No, you're good.
They're kind of like the football version of the Mariners, but way older.
Yeah, that's a
One's
pretty
for
good
me
point.
right here.
Yeah, you earned Big Ben.
But yeah, Lions at 2.
I just have that flip-flopped with the Chiefs being a number 2, and I mean with them getting DeAndre Hopkins, there's a pretty strong argument that they should be number 1, but I still like even with that they barely beat this Bucs team that's missing a lot of weapons, and they were at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like they're just like a lot of those mid-2010s Patriots teams that just like kept fucking winning even though they didn't look that good. And Mahomes isn't even really playing that good this year. He looked a little better, but Hopkins makes a difference, and until they're proven otherwise, they're the top dogs in the AFC.
Yeah.
But at number 3, I have the Bills still. I just think that they're going to be probably at the lowest, like number 4 in my power rankings the rest of the season, unless they totally fall off.
Yeah.
They're just a really well-coached team with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it's that simple for me.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. However, I do have the Ravens at 3. They demolished the Broncos, my 10th team from last week. So the Broncos, spoiler alert, did not make my top 10. But I still think the Broncos are a good team, and the Ravens, like, they blew them out. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't close. And it was close in the first half for a little bit, but, like, you can't keep up 4 quarters with the Ravens. It's just, if you're the Broncos, you just can't do it. And I know the Ravens lost last week, or 2 weeks ago to the Browns, but I just think the matchup of Ravens Chiefs in the AFC Championship is inevitable. Unless my man Joe Shiesty can say anything about it, I still have my belief in Joe.
It's going to be a tall order with the way that conference is
He's
playing
Mr.
out.
Dark Horse, but I got the Ravens at 3. And then at 4, I have this is kind of a fun one. I got my boy Jaden Daniels in the Washington Commanders.
Wow.
At 4.
Top 4.
Top 4. You heard it. You heard it correctly. And let's see here. They played last week. Who did they beat? They beat the. Oh wait, no.
Was it the Titans?
No, it was the Giants. They beat the Giants.
That's who it was.
Danny Dimes finally got. The Giants scored a touchdown, and the commentator was like, "Touchdown, Giants at home." And he was like, he wasn't throwing shade. He was
That
just,
should happen.
He was just letting people know that they finally scored a touchdown at home.
That should happen every home game. That's insane that
Yeah.
they even have to consider that.
But the Commanders 7-2 this season. They got a tough matchup this week against the Steelers. I think that game is going to go 50-50 just because the Steelers defense is so good. But Jaden Daniels has been playing like a top 5 quarterback all year.
Is that a primetime game or?
Let's see. No, it's a 10 o'clock game. Why?
That's wild.
But don't worry. I did see they flexed a game. It was like Jets and something. Oh, wait, no, that's a couple weeks down the road.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, what was I saying?
Just talking about Jade Daniels playing like
Jane
top
Daniels
QB.
and the Commanders, they win again. They're even winning games like they did against the Bears last week, where they just had the ball is just consistently bouncing their way. So I'm just, maybe I'm a little biased, but I really like the Commanders. They're kind of my bandwagon team this year, and I got them at 4.
That's fair. Yeah. They will be high on my rankings too, but not higher than the Ravens. For all the same reasons you said. I mean, I kind of revisiting it, I'm like, I probably should have put them at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Ravens absolutely demolished the Broncos, and they walked in there and they're like, we don't give a shit that your defense is good. We're gonna do whatever we want, and they did. And this is just yeah, it is a force to be reckoned with. I think this top 4, arguably my 5 team too, but really the top 4, 3 AFC teams in there are kind of in their own tier right now, in my opinion. Like I would pick them over every team they play this year besides each other, if that makes sense. In a head-to-head matchup.
Yeah.
But number 5, I have the Commanders. Kind of for the same reasons you said again, like they're just having things go their way this season, and they're good. Like the defense is playing good. They got the leadership and Bobby Wagner out there. They're kind of, for having a rookie quarterback, they're kind of a veteran team. You got Austin Eckler, another like 30-year-old-ish
Zach
player.
Ertz.
Yeah, Zach Ertz. Terry McLaurin's getting up there in age, but like they're kind of a team that's ready to win right now, but they got a super young rookie QB. I guess he's kind of old for a rookie, but it's his first year in the NFL, and the fact that he's playing so good is wild, because this is after a couple of years of rookie QBs really struggling. So it's just impressive to see. The longer it goes on, the more I'm just like, wow, I did not see that coming. So, yeah, I believe in the Commanders at number 5.
Yeah, I have the Bills at 5. The only reason why I didn't put them above the Commanders is just because the Bills have lost some games that I thought, maybe they should have won. And I have yet to see the Bills beat the Chiefs. And I don't really know if I want to even put them that high, because is this just going to be the same story we've seen the past 4 seasons with them losing in the playoffs? I don't know. We'll see. But I do like the Bills. I would really like it for this year to be the year where they get over that hump and knock the Chiefs off, because I really like Josh Allen. I want to see him win a Super Bowl one day. I think that'd be a cool thing to see, and the Bills finally get a Super Bowl ring. That would be good for them. But Bills at 5, and then I got the Eagles, hungry and humble, at 6.
That's a big jump.
And the only reason I did that is because they're doing what I thought they should have done at the start of the year. Keep giving Saquon the ball. Just keep giving him the ball.
Dude,
and
that
you know what he
reverse
does
hurdle,
when you give him the ball? He reverse hurdles over people.
that was the craziest shit I've ever
Colby,
seen.
you want to bring up the reverse hurdle with Saquon?
3rd and 6 for Philadelphia. Hurts has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30.
But yeah, the Eagles, I still don't believe in their coach. I think Nick Sirianni is not even close to the reason they're winning. He's the reason, I would argue, that they lose games.
The Saquon Barkley run really is that special.
They got
Like,
one of
you
the best
can't
rosters in the league, bottom line. Like, every aspect of that team is stacked.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just not gonna show the video on this.
well, at least we get to watch this fucking bald guy. That's... I feel like the TikTokification of media is one of the most annoying things that's happened in the 2020s.
All right. Well, people have probably already seen it anyway. It's fine. I'll just edit it in post. But yeah, I got the Eagles at 6.
Yeah. So or did you do 2 teams or?
I did Bills at 5
That's
because you
right.
did your 5th, and then I just did 6. So
So
now
at
you're
6,
doing 6.
I got the Vikings still. I know that the Viking stocks are kind of going down, but to me, they're still a really, really good team. Their defense has been fantastic this season, and Justin Jefferson's arguably best receiver in football, and Sam Darnold's playing the best football of his career. So I think they're going to be in a dogfight in that NFC North with the Packers and the Lions, but I still think they're going to be sticking around come January. Mm-hmm. But next on the list, I have the Steelers at, what are we at now, 7? And, yeah, I mean, they had their bye week, but the last couple games they've played with Russell Wilson have been really impressive, and I'm really looking forward to that matchup with the Commanders this week. Hopefully we have a way to watch it. It's kind of strength versus strength a little bit with the Steelers defense, the Commanders offense, and then the flip side of that. So that's going to be a super fun matchup. It's a shame that's not a primetime game this week.
Bobby going up against Russ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's not the first time that's happened, too. That's interesting.
That'll be fun. So for me at 7, I have the Vikings. I still think highly of their defense. They've still got capable skill player. I mean, one of the best skill players in the league, and then capable offensive weapons alongside him. But the Vikings, they've just kind of been, they've been not that exciting. But they're still a good team. They're still 6-2, So
Something like that, yeah.
They're still gonna make the playoffs. Just I think the hype train died down a little bit after starting off hot at 5-0, and then at 8 for me, I have the Steelers. Again, just coming off a bye week, but I'm excited to see what they do this week against the Commanders. That's going to be a really good game. And then you at 8?
Yeah, so I got the 49ers jumping back into the top 10 because this is in anticipation of Christian McCaffrey coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sucks that it's lining up directly with when we play them again, but this is it's still one of the more talented teams in the league that has not hit their stride. I know they lost Ayuk for the season, but I just wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the NFC Championship this year. As bad as they've been relative to what you expect, I'm still worried about them, long story short. And then after them, I also have Hungry and Humble staying in the top 10. Saquon jumping over people's heads. A.J. Brown making plays. The Eagles they could launch up these power rankings in the next couple of weeks if they keep doing this. They looked so bad to start the season that I'm still kind of weighing that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they won their first game, but you know what I mean. They just did not look great.
Yeah, no, I thought they were going to lose to the Packers that week. But, yeah, for me, I have at number 9, I have the Green Bay Packers. They were higher for me earlier on in the year, but Jordan Love just makes some Will Levis-esque plays, and they just keep happening. I keep thinking they're going to stop, but then he does it again, and then throws a pick six. And I'm just like there was a screen where he tried to make something out of nothing, and it was a pick six. And, like, when you look at the replay, you're like, who are you throwing that to? There's 3 defenders surrounding the guy that it looks like you can't even see. So
he's a roller coaster, man.
So Jordan Love, like, I am a believer. I'm just like, whoa, he needs to clean up that hero ball a little bit, because we kind of all anointed him as this Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre protege, which he is, but he needs to settle down with the mistakes.
Yeah, he's looking more Favre than Rodgers lately.
Yeah, he's looking more Levis than Favre or Rodgers. But, yeah, I got the Packers at number 9. Did you round out your 10? Or?
No, I just got one team left. So
okay, and then at 10 for me, I have the Houston Texans. I don't know. They've kind of been – their stock, similar to the Vikings, has been falling. They dropped the game last week against the Jets. And then who did they play this past week? I can't remember. But they're 6-3 right now. C.J. Stroud's played a little bit.
He's a little bit of a slump.
Questionable, but I still think he's going to be fine. He's lost a couple weapons. Diggs went down, but they still got Joe Mixon. They still got a solid defense. So I like the Commanders hovering around 10. They're still a playoff team.
Yeah, I also have the Texans at number 10. And
or did I say the Commanders?
You did, Texans. But I know what you meant. And when Nico Collins comes back, you're going to see this team playing how they were in the beginning of the season again, because he was like playing like the best receiver in football. I don't think he necessarily has that title, but that's how good he was playing when he was in this year. So I believe in what I've seen in that team. I think they got a good coaching staff, and I don't really think they are going to be a threat for the title this year, but that doesn't mean they're not a top 10 team.
Right.
That's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's kind of all I had for this episode, really. Just delivering our synopsis on how bad our line is, and then giving our top 10 power rankings.
At least we don't have to do guaranteed a post-game video after a loss again this week.
That's good.
We get a week off.
Yeah. Maybe we could do a... We're good.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking of, like, maybe we could do if we did watch the Steelers Commanders or something, we could evaluate that game since it's a Russ game, but I don't even know if we're going to get that on cable.
Yeah, we would just be what we see on Red Zone pretty much. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Alrighty.
But yeah, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next time. Oh my God.